Hi, I wanted to tell you about Kyle, Bill, and Jack so that you can identify what type of leader you're going to be today. See, 2 weeks ago on Friday evening, I was driving around Baltimore at about 5:45 in the afternoon on my way to Virginia because I had a client dinner in preparation for a strategy session with them the following morning. And as I was driving along, the sun was shining and everything was going great until my tire pressure light started to flash on my dash. When that happened, I started to think to myself, oh, here we go again, because you see, over the winter months, the sensor had started to fail, and I thought we were having the same problem again. Wrong assumption. However, I kept driving, and about 10 minutes later, I started to smell that really distinctive burnt tire smell. But I was driving right next to a bus, so I assumed it was the bus. Wrong assumption again. As the smell started to get stronger, I decided I better pull over to check, and sure enough, it was me, and I was riding on the rim. I had completely blown out the sidewalls of my rear left tire. So as I checked to ensure that I had a spare tire, and I did, even though it was just a temporary spare, one of those little donut tires, I immediately started to call tire services to help me out. The soonest a tire service could get to me would be an hour away. I knew I would need at least one, if not two, and probably 4 new tires to ensure they all matched. So I also started calling tire stores. But because it was now almost 6 o'clock on a Friday evening, most stores were already closing, and those that stayed open until 8 o'clock had no openings for me, either that night or the following morning, or they didn't have the tires that I needed. Things were not looking good. Until I called Bill. Bill was the service master at the Merchant's Tire in Catonsville, Maryland. Now, when I talked to Bill initially, he didn't have the tires I needed either, nor could he get me in that evening or the following morning. So I kept calling. And I kept calling and talking to different tire stores, and one after one I was striking out. However, a Good Samaritan called and offered to change my tire so I wouldn't have to wait for a tire service. So as the Good Samaritan is changing my tire, my phone rang. And I answered it, and it was Bill. He said, Miss Liz? And I said, yes. He said, this is Bill from Merchant's Tire. If you come here tonight, we can help you out. And I said, but Bill, it's now after 6, and you said you didn't have tires. And he said, I have a technician that's offered to stay. We don't have the tires that exactly match yours, but we have some that will work just as well for you. Come here tonight, and we'll help you. And I said, Bill, this is wonderful, but I won't get to you until almost 8 o'clock. You're 12 miles away from me. And he said, Liz, we will wait for you. Come here, be safe, and do not drive any faster than 50 miles an hour on that spare tire. I can't tell you what that meant to me. I'm on the interstate, cars are zooming by, a nice man is changing my tires, I'm 12 miles away from the store that I don't know, and these people are willing to stay on a Friday night to help me. Anyway, long story short, I drive no faster than 50 miles an hour because Bill told me to get to the Merchant's Tire. I arrive at 7:45 on a Friday night. Bill immediately walks out, shakes my hand, and I say, Bill, thank you so much for staying. And all he does is simply shrug and say, we're happy to help. It's the right thing to do. Kyle then walks out. I thank him. He smiles, said, I'm happy to help. He takes my car and zooms it into a bay. An hour and a half later, 9:30 on a Friday evening, I'm able to drive out of the Merchant's Tire store, safe, secure, on my way to a new client engagement the following morning. And I felt good about the entire experience. Why? Because I had experienced people doing the right thing. First, the Good Samaritan stopped to help me out, which was huge. Next, I can't thank Bill enough, because he not only stayed on the phone with me, but he solved a problem for me and realized that it was important to me to be safe, to match my client commitment the following morning, and obviously get a new tire and ultimately new tires in my vehicle. And I'd also experienced Kyle, a frontline technician that took it upon himself to stay and help a customer, to stay and help me. The following morning, before my strategy session started with a client, I called Bill once again just to simply say thank you. Now, he obviously has caller ID because as soon as he answered, he said, "Hello, Miss Liz." And I started laughing. But I thanked him again, and I said, "I sure hope you guys did not get into trouble for staying late last night." And he said, "No, it wasn't a problem at all. Actually, we're happy to help." And he said, "When I told Jack, the store manager, about what happened, Jack said it was the right thing to do. Thank you both for staying." So here's my thought to you before I head inside and work with a client today. What kind of leader can you be? Can you be a Kyle, a frontline technician, a frontline worker who goes above and beyond to help customers? Can you be a Bill? Can you be a manager who sees the bigger problem that your customer is facing? Sure, I needed new tires, but I needed to be safe, and I wanted to ensure I could meet my client commitment. And he understood that. Or can you be a Jack? Can you be the kind of store manager who creates an environment that allows, encourages, and rewards employees and management for doing the right thing? What kind of leader can you be? Can you be a Kyle, a Bill, or a Jack? I gotta go. Have a good day. Bye-bye.